know what I'm saying, off camera and everything, you know what I'm saying? But I was talking about how there's some people out there that really don't think music is influential. And I tell people all the time, music is the most influential thing that exists.
That's right.
Not on the planet, but just in existence. Why? Because you gotta understand, man didn't create music. Music was created by the Most High, so that's the only thing that stimulates your entire brain. You know what I'm saying? There's no, you don't even use like 15% of your brain, but music will activate that whole motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? So music is very influential, and it's been weaponized.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I can remember when we was kids, you know what I'm saying? NWA was the hottest thing out in '88. You know what I'm saying? Niggas was running around. We was always playing cops and robbers. It's like, nah, nigga, we playing gangsters.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you
come.
know what I'm saying? Like, straight up. You know what I'm saying? We playing gangster.
Right.
So, and all the music that we had back then, like you had, you know what I'm saying? You had Public Enemy, you had X-Clan, you had Paris. You know what I'm saying? People that were, you know what I'm saying, socially sound, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, uplifting black people. Like, okay, check it out. I'm saying all this for a reason. Music is influential, and yes, it does affect how, you know what I'm saying, people grow up, you know what I'm saying, especially between the ages of 14 and 16, which is when you get influenced the most.
Right.
So let's think about it. Let's go back to, they did a study on this shit back in the Watts riots, in the Chicago riots, in the 60s. They said most of the people that were protesting and fighting the police were young black males and females, most of whom didn't even graduate from high school, but had a better understanding of how laws work. You know what I'm saying? In the political system. You know what I'm saying? Those are the ones that are out there. And they said, well, why did they do it? And they said because they had pride in who they were. Well, why did they have pride in who they were? You had songs from Jackie Robinson, you know what I'm saying? Not Jackie Robinson, I'm sorry, but Sam Cooke, you know what I'm saying? James Brown, you know what I'm saying? Like, that uplifted the black people. You know what I'm saying? They had pride in who they were because of their music. Fast forward to 92. Rodney King gets his ass whooped. Cops get, you know what I'm saying? They walk off. It's not guilty. Niggas went ape shit. Once again, they did a study. Found out young black American male and females, as well as Latinos. They're like, well, why did they do it? They had pride in themselves. What gave them pride in themselves? Public Enemy, X-Clan, you know what I'm saying? Paris. They songs that uplifted black people.
Right. Thought-provoking.
Thought-provoking, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Look at our old shows. You know what I'm saying? Like Cosby Show, A Different World, Living Singles, Martin. You know what I'm saying? What did they wear? You know what I'm saying? HBCU gear. You know what I'm saying? Grambling State. You know what I'm saying? All these things, Morehouse. You know what I'm saying? Things that promoted education. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So there's the African medallions. You know what I'm saying? There's a pride in being African American. So what ended up happening is gangster rap. They figured out, okay, well, we can get these kids to start listening to this music because they know it's influential. You know what I'm saying? I remember when Jive came around, signed everybody around here. You know what I'm saying? Too Short,
40,
Spice One. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody was getting signed to Jive, and they was promoting that music tough. That's all we grew up on.
Right.
Totally Insane, Chunk, RBL Posse, you know what I'm saying? Sibo, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
40, Click, Mac Dre, you know what I'm saying? Too Short, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the shit we hearing as kids, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what you listening to, so that's, you know what I'm saying? If I was listening to, I don't know, some country shit, I was wearing, why you think little kids who listen to country music wear boots and cowboy hats, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're influenced by what they listen to, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Straight up, so it's the same thing with the black community. And that shit created killers that lived a criminal lifestyle, sold drugs, did all kind of shit that funneled into the prison system.
So, not to cut you off, but the power of what you promoting, you don't really realize because you may just be putting words together that sound hella good, like I'm killing, I'm killing, I'm killing.
And that's what they did. It's like they made it seem like it's okay to talk about what you're doing, you know what I'm saying, or what you see out here, you know what I'm saying? We want you to put it out there. You know what I'm saying? They make it sound like it's a good thing, but it's like what you're doing is just showing the world what you already see. And kids who normally wouldn't have saw that shit or know anything about it are now getting a glimpse into that world, and it's like, oh shit, what's going on here?
Right.
Oh, you know, I see something similar over here, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so that's what they doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. So,
and through that, like, you know what I'm saying, if you look it up, you know what I'm saying, private prison started around the early 90s. You know what I'm saying? They did this shit because private prisons have contracts with states. Said they have to keep their beds full or the state will have to pay. You see what I'm saying? So it's not even about, it's about bodies, it's body in the bed is a check. Straight up. You know what I'm saying? A body in the bed is a check. So if we can keep motherfuckers in the criminal atmosphere, that means we're always going to have enough people to put in these prisons. California has more prisoners than anywhere in the fucking world, cuz.
You know what I'm saying? We have the biggest prison population in the world.
Yeah. In the fucking world. We're one state. We got more people in prison than anywhere on the fucking face of the earth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's about money. You know what I'm saying? So, but here's the backlash, and that's why music has changed. Now, follow me here. So in the 90s, they promoted gangster rap. And everybody knows, if you grew up in the 90s, that was one of the hardest times in the fucking world to grow up. Because everybody, I don't give a fuck where you went, everybody was claiming something.
Something, yeah.
Something.
It was dangerous.
It was dangerous. It was dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows that. Anybody you talk to that grew up in the 90s, the 90s were...
It wasn't no footage. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. It wasn't none of that social media shit, so it wasn't no talking shit online. Oh yeah, nigga, when I see you. Nah, it's like, nigga, when I see you. Like, the 90s was the real on-site.
Right.
And
you know no banging and
like, real on-site. Like, there you go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It didn't matter who the fuck was around, who was going to see what it's on. So what happened is, okay, so they started promoting this gangster rap. You know, Reagan era, they flooded dope in the communities and shit like that. So now you produce young killers.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Who have no respect for the law. That's a problem. So now speaking of position of power, so how do we correct this or counteract this? Well, we use the music to influence them back then into what we wanted. But this is the byproduct. Okay, so let's use the music again. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to make it docile. We're going to make it docile, and we're going to still keep it self-destructive, but we're going to make it upon themselves. So about 2006 is when I started seeing the music really shift. More about, you know what I'm saying? It kind of got back to where it was in the 80s of dancing and having fun, but it's about being a dope fiend. Not selling drugs, doing drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like, straight up.
Yeah,
doing drugs and being gay.
Okay.
It's all, you understand, the attack that comes from the power that be is always to remove the head.
Right.
Always. You know what I'm saying? Even with the, you know what I'm saying, the war on drugs was to move the man out of the home.
The body would fall.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's so easy for females to get on welfare. You know what I'm saying? Because as long as they're dependent on the system, on us, then they'll say that they don't need him. And we'll continue to fuck him off because when we're giving her money, we're going to take his money. To where it gets to the point where he can't even take care of himself. So what's he going to do? Go back to the lifestyle that he once knew. You know what I'm saying? Go right back into the system. It's a fucked up thing, but I mean, these motherfuckers, they know what the fuck they doing. So that's why we have to know.
So, okay, so basically, the way the system is set up is it's against us, right? So because the system is against us, we have to create our own system.
Yeah, exactly.
You
can never get free in the system that's set up to hold you back.
Right. We begging from the oppressor. So it's like my dogs in the backyard. They trying to behave, so I feed them.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, like, I understand why the protests went on back in the 60s and things like that, and I understand why they happen now, but the protests aren't going to be the answer. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're basically, the analogy I use is you're begging for crumbs from the master's table. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
These motherfuckers throw you some crumbs, and you're like, okay, yeah, we won. And they're like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, cuz, like, we fought for civil rights. Not even equal, nigga.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, can we be civil?
Can we be civil? Right.
Can we be civil? Can we just get some civil rights in this motherfucker?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're like, okay, we'll give you civil, but we goddamn sure ain't gonna give you equal. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So we got those crumbs, and it's like, okay, the NAACP, that's ran by white people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, nigga, you don't even control that.
Hey, no, hey, I want to expound on something too. We were talking about something the other day, and you had me dying. You was talking about Farrakhan.
All right, man. Look.
Okay.
First and foremost, I'm gonna say this. You know what I'm saying? I'm a believer in the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Yahweh, Elohim. Yeshua is my savior. Period. Y'all know him as Jesus. I call him Yeshua because it's his Hebrew name. I understand Jesus is an erroneous translation of his name, but you have to understand that Elohim is still in control and knew all this shit would happen and is giving power to that name. So anybody got a problem with that? Fuck you very, very much. So, look, how is it that people follow Farrakhan and swear he's the truth when this nigga has been talking about killing Whitey for 50 fucking years or more? And it's not dead yet, nigga. And it has money. Like, living in an opulent house, and he's good. But he's always been talking about killing Whitey and all this other shit Every other motherfucker has talked about just competing with whitey niggas.
Martin Luther King, he was talking about non-violent.
They killed him.
Died violent.
They killed him. Look, they tried to assassinate him. He didn't even die at the hotel. He died in the hospital.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what y'all don't know. That's why you gotta educate yourself. You know what I'm saying? Stop using that phone for Facebook and porn, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Look shit up. They killed Martin Luther King because he was able to bring people together. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Farrakhan's still alive because he's keeping motherfuckers separated. Mm. You can control somebody that's separated. I don't give a fuck if he's keeping. If y'all think he's the real thing, if you think that you are closer to the Most High because of your ethnicity, you on the wrong motherfucking path, homie. I'm gonna keep it 100. You Satan don't give a fuck. He don't give a fuck if you're this far away, or just this far away from the fucking mark. As long as you ain't on the mark. You understand what I'm saying? So my thing is like, I don't get it. Like, that's a red flag to me because all of our leaders, Huey P. Newton, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, cuz. Black Panthers, they got destroyed because they were bringing people together. Right. You know what I'm saying? They weren't just on this black. They said black power because it was black power. Power to the people, though. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many white people in neighborhoods that live in low-income neighborhoods, kids get fed at school? How many of y'all on WIC? That was from the Black Panthers. You see what I'm saying? So it wasn't just about
breakfast programs for the kids. You know what I'm saying? Like kids learn better when they
like they got lights put up in the community, like stoplights. There'd be intersections where there was no stoplight, but there's all this traffic. The kid got hit and killed. They petitioned to get stoplights set up. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, in certain areas because it was dangerous. Right. Just for kids. You know what I'm saying? Across the street. Right. You know what I'm saying? So
speed bumps.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So they did that and were killed and ostracized and said that they were doing dope and all kind of shit. Right. This nigga is at a podium talking about killing white people. Right. He's having he's had like 3 million man marches, cuz. Right.
Hey, what he charging?
Busting you niggas in for a fee to talk about killing whitey. And he's still alive. That don't send off like, come on, man. Like, that don't. I'm sorry, cuz. Like, nigga, come on, cuz. Like, I can get up and start talking like I'm talking right now and become a target. Right. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm trying to keep people separated, okay, that's good. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep it 100 with you guys. I think you're being funny. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. You know what I'm saying? You can say whatever you want because, like, I know goddamn well if you try to compete with the system that's in place right now, they're going to they're going to do something to you. And that's what the revolution is about because I keep telling people all the time, like, nothing changed for the oppressed without a physical confrontation. And that's history. You know what I'm saying? Any people that were oppressed always had to get into some type of physical altercation with their oppressors to change their condition.
Or their bully.
You know what I'm saying? Like, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to. If you got, perfect example, good shit. If there's a bully fucking with you, he's not going to stop bullying you until you give him a reason to stop bullying you.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I've always been a bully's bully. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to get an easy win on that nigga because fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always been that way. You know what I'm saying? But that's a perfect analogy. A bully's not going to stop bullying you until you show him he can't bully you.
Well, and see, here's the other thing, too, that I have a problem with is that, like, if I'm scrolling YouTube or something like that, and, you know, they call it clickbait, and a lot of times it'll be us talking about us, and I just feel like, okay, for me, if we want to be accepted, right? If that's the card that we playing spades, and we want to play the acceptance card, then I think we have to look respectable. And I think that if we're clowning each other, and I'm not saying that's the way to go. I'm just saying if that's the approach, then we need to quit clowning each other. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. And have respect 100%. For each other. And if we're talking bad about each other, do it in private.
I agree 100%. They're putting down our brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying? And I'm guilty of it, you know what I'm saying? Because psychological conditioning, you know what I'm saying? This is what we do. Right. But I agree 100%, like, because I fell victim the other day because I don't want to fight any more black people, you know what I'm saying? But I fell victim the other day because this dude he pissed me off because he was talking under his breath a couple of days ago, and it stayed on the back of my mind, so I tried to get at that nigga, you know what I'm saying? And I shouldn't have done that, you know what I'm saying? Because he's another brother, regardless of how, you know, he's a piece of shit, you know what I'm saying? But regardless, it's a brother. Right. And I shouldn't have stepped there, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm checking myself, like, real shit. That's right. That's
that's what men do.
You know what I'm saying? No, honest. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to contribute anymore to the shit that, you know what I'm saying, we've been contributing to.
And you know what?
Genocide.
There's enough. Right, like I don't got a hey, we so much of a target.
we don't gotta do it. They already trying. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
And that's the thing. They've been using us to get rid of us for years. It's like, and that's why I say small minded, because you know what I'm saying. Like if we can get people to just realize the fact that we remain 13% for over like 400 years. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason. Like, yeah, they're holding us back, but we're still here. They can't get rid of us. And then we still excel. With everything against us, we still excel. Mm-hmm. We need to stop trying to excel in the system, though, because they'll always take it or they'll put us at a plateau. You'll get here and you go no further unless you're playing ball. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. You can't, you're never going to get on top in a system that was designed to keep you at the bottom.
Well, going back to the bully theory, right? So it's like a woman who's in a domestic violence relationship that feels like she can't leave the situation, but don't really realize once she leaves it, she does better, she prospers, she's stable. I just don't understand how we feel like we need to be a part of the system. I mean, at the end of the day, nothing but knowledge is stopping us from opening our own businesses, becoming limited liability companies, and then putting ourselves in a position where we can get the tax benefits, we can have the ability to have ownership passed down to our kids. And then, you know what? If it don't work, then we already know that there's a system available, but there'll never be another system if we don't create it. And that's how I feel about it.
I agree with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my thoughts right now because there's so much me. You guys gotta forgive me because I think really fast, and
take your time.
Sometimes things just come out like I'll start going. Mm-hmm. I give that glory to him because he's giving me the ability to break things down to the simplest form for people to understand. Which is why if you don't understand what I say, I look at you like you are kind of like a special kind of stupid.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. You'll get it.
Like, but what you said, to touch on what you said though, like yeah. I think, okay, so there's always fear of the unknown. You know what I'm saying? We go back to the domestic violence thing, like, because that person's in that relationship, they don't know how to start on their own. They probably have never been on their own, so they feel like they're more scared of what they don't know than versus what they're already dealing with. Okay. So to translate that over, I mean, you have brothers and sisters who are out there doing it. You know what I'm saying? But what happens is, and I had this discussion online about 2 weeks ago. I ain't gonna say their names, but it was about stop saying the word, stop calling yourself a nigga. And I said never. Now let me explain why I said never. And I'm gonna bring all this back around, so bear with me.
Yeah. So take your time.
I said never, and they were like, "Why?" I said because the word nigga comes from the word nigga, which is Ethiopian and means ruler or king. Now the word nigger was a derogatory form of that word. Right. You see what I'm saying? Right. Nigga is pronounced the same way, niggas. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It sounds the exact same way. It's just spelled different. Right. Nigger was a derogatory form of nigga. Now, just like we get clowned for eating watermelon and chicken, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, just stay on watermelon. In Africa, watermelon is considered a sacred fruit because it's the only thing that'll fill your belly and quench your thirst. You see what I'm saying? Okay. And our functions out here, you know what I'm saying? You'll see little kids in front, you know what I'm saying? Middle age, you know what I'm saying? Like our age, you know what I'm saying? Somewhere around the middle. The older folks are always in the back. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing in Africa. You know what I'm saying? So it's like what I'm saying is genetically we are still attached to our roots. So when they took and made the word nigger to degrade us and to demean us, eventually in our roots, in our essence, we turn that word into a term of endearment. That's my nigga. When I say my nigga, you my loved one, so I'm looking at you like a king. Right. You see what I'm saying? Right. And we did it just because we're attached to our roots. You see what I'm saying? So I'll never stop calling myself a nigga. Why? You know what I'm saying? I mean, let's keep it 100. They turned the word into something derogatory. We turned it into a term of endearment. And now those same people that turn into a word of derogatory, come on, kids, grandkids, and kids is calling themselves niggas. That's a win, cuz. Yeah. Like that's a win. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like everything they've done to hold us down know what I'm saying, we continue to rise out of it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
So, you know, I think if we start to believe in ourselves, and not in our flesh, but in the fact of our spirit. Like I made this analogy the other day. I said, okay, imagine you get an iPhone. It's a brand new iPhone. You open up the box. You know, you're scrolling through all, you know, you're looking through the pixels and the pictures and all the different type of things that it does. And then you import your pictures, and then you go make a phone call and it doesn't work. Do you think they would create an iPhone that doesn't make phone calls? So do you think God will create a spirit that can't be 100% in all that he does? So everything is created for purpose. So why would anybody feel like they would need to be in a domestic situation? Why would anybody feel like they would need to be in a bully situation? Because we don't know. Because we're spending most of our time and our attention dressing up this flesh instead of tapping into the spirit.
So
go ahead.
To touch back on that, to come full circle, I said that because one of the dudes was like, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause it's like when a major problem with our people is that once we get to a position to where we are comfortable, like we have a business, we're making money, you know what I'm saying? We're knocking on all the right doors and things like that. You don't bring anybody with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And this whole conversation I was touching on with these brothers, like one was like, you know what I'm saying, like we're talking right now, like how do we bring people together and this and that. And you know what I'm saying, this brother was like, you know, talking about how I said I was going to stop calling myself a nigga, and then was like, talking about, yeah, we need to come together. But then his last comment was like, man, get you an LLC, get you some money, buy some land, stay out the way. I'm like, nigga, that's not helping nobody but you. You know what I'm saying? Like that defeats everything we were just talking about, because that's your mind state.
Right.
You was saying all the shit, but nigga, all you give a fuck about is you.
Right.
And that's the problem.
So that's the thing is, y'all niggas, let me use the word, need to stop fucking it up for me.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
So I can keep my shit
y'all
together.
Y'all niggas need to stop doing all that shit, because, you know, I'm good over here. Okay, I'm not knocking you. I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm proud of you. I'm glad you where you are. You know what I'm saying? Real shit, because you come from here. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I feel like this. I feel like, and we had touched on this earlier about, you know what I'm saying, a couple of days ago about pairs, right? It's like this. I don't give a fuck how much money you got, what you doing, who you think you is. When you leave the house, you put on the left shoe and you put on the right shoe. So if you want to walk around with just one shoe on and you don't want to bring in a pair, you don't want to bring your brother on, that's how you look. When you're doing it by yourself, you looking like you walking around with one shoe on.
Right. It was just like, a lot, man, the thing is, a lot of people say they pro-black, but don't want, because that fight is going to take you risking everything. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's going to take. You're going to risk everything. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you get out there and you start speaking and if you start bringing people together, yes, you will be loved by a lot of people, but you will be feared by a few that have a lot of power. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, it's not just the affluent African Americans in our communities that are doing it, but we also have the mind state about, you know what I'm saying, the cats that are in the community, you know what I'm saying, that ain't doing it.
Right.
It's like trying to reach them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can go to Trans and Vallejo. And then one day, this brother come in, and his whole demeanor was just like, you know what I'm saying? First of all, he's like 110 pounds. So walking around with way too much confidence.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like he's not being articulate, telling people what they want. You know what I'm saying? They're like, hey, can we help you? And he's just on his phone talking. Like, they can serve him when he's ready. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like that. It's like, you say white people are privileged? Well, I've seen privilege in the hood.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Niggas that feel like, well, you know what I'm saying, I'm who I am, you know what I'm saying, so I can do what I want. That shit don't fly, cuz. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a way to conduct yourself, you know what I'm saying, at all times, you know what I'm saying? Now, when you around your homies and things like that, okay, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But when you step around people you don't know, the image that you give off is going to last. You know what I'm saying? First impressions make a motherfucker.
Okay, so what you're saying is, and I want y'all to watch this, everybody affects everybody.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter if you have these group of brothers over here that's doing their thing. If you's a brother, or if you, And when we say brother, you know what I'm saying, another spirit walking around, how you carry yourself is representing us.
Exactly.
So we all have to be accountable. So at the end of the day, let's say you don't want to take care of your kids. Let's say you don't want to contribute to the economic and, you know, liberty and social justice, you know what I'm saying, of our people. At least conduct yourself in a manner that's respectable. So that while the rest of us is trying to keep the respect and keep the integrity and keep the momentum and movement of what we're trying to do.
Yes, exactly.
Because, I mean, think about it. Look, we are all contributing to some point. So you're either contributing to the empowerment or you contributing to the demise.
Facts. Straight up. I mean, that's exactly what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you don't want to get involved, I mean, because, okay, for example, it didn't take, like, what happened with Colin Kaepernick. Mm-hmm. This man risked everything because he just wasn't feeling that shit. You know what I'm saying? First of all, this song is racist. Secondly, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're talking about freedom and justice for all, but I see all these black and brown people getting murdered by police and nothing's happening. Like, what the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? He wasn't looking for no fame or fortune, because nigga, he could have just stayed in this place. You know what I'm saying? And made all kind of money. He risked everything. They blackballed him. I haven't watched football since. And I am a diehard Niner fan.
I know you are too.
I've been a Niner fan since I was 4 years old.
Well, you ain't missing that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, man, diehard. You know what I'm saying? It's still gangsta Crip though. You know what I'm saying? But when that happened, I stopped watching football. Mm-hmm. And to me, that alone could have changed so much because we're the ones that empower the NFL. Without us, they don't have shit. So it's like if everybody, I mean, and it didn't risk anything. It didn't risk. You didn't risk your livelihood. You didn't risk your life, your family's life, nothing.
Right.
All you had to do was just not watch it. Not watch it. Yeah. If every black person in America has stopped watching football, you would have seen a huge change.
Oh, not even stop watching football, spending on football.
I spend,
man, on gear.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a Browns fan. Hold on, let me get that in the picture. But yeah, no, I mean.
No, straight up.
I mean, just our dollars, and see, that's what you know, I know that it's an uphill battle. I know that. But what I do know is simple math, like you said earlier, or what they taught us, right? They teach us to be able to read our sentence, right? Or what the time they're giving us, and they teach us how to sign it, right? And then they teach us how to add so we can know and add, subtract how much time we got left. But with that same perspective, because we can read and we can write, I think that as a unit, like, if we could take the same mentality of chaos and come through, let's apply that on a regular basis.
Right.
Collectively, like, I think about it, if everybody got their stimulus check, it's some people who is doing better off than others. But listen, put aside some portion. I'm not saying save money, right? Because, and that's another, and we'll touch on that at a different time as far as money and dollars. But I'm saying, don't have money and then have nothing to do with it. Look, if you get to the point, if you had $1,200, put $400 over the side. If you can't make nothing happen with the $800, put that $4 to the side for somebody else who can make something happen, and then you can get your $4 back. You see what I'm saying?
Invest, yes.
It's the same. It's the same type of mentality as the dude sitting in front of me, talking about he ain't got no money. Dude sitting outside right in front of the store, he begging him for $1 or whatever. Dude, I ain't got it. So he go in the store, he buy $20 worth of lottery tickets. Right? But he ain't got it. So he leaves the store, not knowing that person outside, that soul outside, that spirit outside, could have turned that $2 that he gave him into more than what he lost, obviously, on them scratchers.
It says be kind of off because you never know, you might be entertaining an angel. You know what I mean? Like, real shit, I'm one of the type of people, like, literally everywhere I go, I hold the door open for people. I say thank you, I say excuse me, you know what I'm saying, things like that. Now, what I don't do, if somebody asks me, like, can I get some money for food? No. You got ID? Yeah. Okay, you know what a social service building is? Because they'll give you like $250 in food stamps. You don't need to ask for money for food.
That's right.
Like, they'll give you food.
Right.
Straight up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather you be honest, like, damn, I'm trying to get a bid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, real shit. And I'm saying this because one time I was coming home from work, started at 7-Eleven on magazine. A brother out there was like, said something like, you know, can I get him a beer? And I just kind of laughed. You know what I'm saying? But I was going in there to get me a beer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going in there to get me a beer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, shit. I grabbed this 211. You know what I'm saying? I was like, it's $2 and some change because I'll fuck that off 5 times over.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Shut up. So it's like, man, grab it. You know what I'm saying? Came outside and I didn't tell him I was getting shit. I laughed at him. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, this thing has some real beer. The fuck? But when I went in there, I'm like, why not? That's all he wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I gave him. I came out. I was like, here you go. He's like, oh damn, man, good look. Good. Kept moving, and that probably made his whole day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know what it's like to be homeless, but I know a lot of homeless people like they just want some comfort in their life. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You know,
shit.
You know, the homeless situation, man, is dude, like
It's exploding.
that's my lane. You know what I'm saying? That's my service. So like, you know what I'm saying, when I see somebody, you know what I'm saying, my wife would be like, man, how you get this dude? You know what I'm saying? I say, you know what? I'm not giving him any money in the sense of I'm taking something away from my household, because money ain't nothing but a tool. I'm just giving him another tool or another way to move on. And I'll say this, excuse me, as far as the homeless people go, I will continue to always help the homeless people because I just feel like I'm connected to them, man. You know what I'm saying? And like I see it and I feel their pain. Like that's one of the things, like if I'm watching a movie, somebody getting stabbed, I feel it. Like, ooh. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where my spirit was or before it became Raphael, but I feel that kind of stuff. So I just can't see that and then just step over it. Like, yeah, get a job. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I feel like we have responsibility. And then here's the thing, too, like I told my wife the other day, I said, when you look at COVID, COVID is a prime example of there should never be any homelessness or impoverishness. If you can send out these many checks, if you can send out stimulus package because of a crisis, you can provide housing and training for homeless people to be able to transition.
It's now you gotta understand the face of the homeless has changed. You know what I'm saying? Before it was people like when I was a kid, people that were homeless were people that were either vets or suffering from a mental condition. You know what I'm saying? Now people are homeless with jobs. You know what I'm saying? People are homeless but have a phone and an iPad. You know what I'm saying? Like real shit. Because the cost of living, like that's where I told you before, you know what I'm saying? We touched on it. I said capitalism can't survive. You know what I'm saying? Capitalism it has to fall apart. Because capitalism is all about more for the person that has it and less and less for the person who doesn't.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So, like, I think it was Proposition 10 back in 2016, which is, it came off as rent control. But when we looked into it, it was a different kind of rent control. I mean, it was basically a rent control to where it's like, if you own 4 houses on this block and you want to sell them under market, you know what I'm saying, under the market value, because you just, you know what I'm saying, you ain't worried about the money, you know what I'm saying, it's going to accumulate. You got 4 houses, you know what I'm saying, so you want to sell them below market, you put people in there that can help them out. I have 4 houses on this block as well. You know what I'm saying? But if you sell them under market or, you know what I'm saying, rent them under market, you're going to fill your houses up first. Mine ain't going to move. I want to sell them at the market value or higher. Because I'm a greedy motherfucker. You see what I'm saying? So what Proposition 10 was written up as to where you can't do that shit. You have to put your house at the market value.
Right.
You know
so that's
what
what the comp
right, you know what I'm saying? So the cost of living, like everybody wants to raise minimum wage, but it's like if you raise minimum wage, you raise prices on everything. Because that means that the warehouses that supply everything have to charge more for their products because they got to pay their workers more.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So since they got to pay their workers more, they're going to charge higher prices on what they're shipping out. People that are receiving have to pay a higher price. So that means because they got to pay their workers more and pay a higher price, they're going to sell it for a higher price. You see what I'm saying? It's not a trickle down, it's a trickle up.
So
you know
so what do you think about this? Okay, so like I'm looking around and I'm seeing like the mall being closed. I'm seeing all of these retail stores being closed. But then I'm seeing the increase of the homeless. So obviously we have a structure in place that can house people, and then using the theory of not raising the minimum wage, if you put those people in structured living,
right. That's why you have to attack the cost of living.
That would be valuable for the environment
But
because
see, but then the
people will
argument
be
is,
working.
But the argument is they say, well, they got Section 8.
What's up?